Captain Zara Chen stared at the blinking red emergency message on her command console, her coffee mug frozen halfway to her lips. The automated diplomatic protocol system cheerfully displayed, "Congratulations. Your recent communication has been successfully processed and transmitted to the Vorthak Collective. Have a stellar day." "What? What did I just do?" she whispered, her hands trembling as she scrolled through the transmission log. Lieutenant Rodriguez rushed to her side, his face pale. "Captain, we're receiving an incoming message from the Vorthak home system. It's marked as a formal declaration response." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the terrifying visage of a Vorthak war prime. Its 6 obsidian eyes gleamed with what could only be described as predatory delight, while its razor-sharp mandibles clicked in a rhythm that universal translators had long ago identified as aggressive anticipation. "Greetings, tiny mammals," the creature's voice rumbled through the bridge speakers like grinding metal. "We acknowledge your declaration of hostilities." How refreshingly unexpected. It has been 847 standard cycles since a species voluntarily chose extinction. We commend your courage, however misguided. Captain Chen's mind raced back to the previous hour. She had been reviewing routine diplomatic correspondence when she noticed an oddly worded treaty amendment from the Galactic Council. The legal jargon had been particularly dense, something about mutual non-aggression protocols and resource allocation frameworks. In her exhaustion from the 14-hour shift, she had simply approved it with her standard diplomatic signature and sent it off to all member species. "Sir," Rodriguez whispered urgently, "I'm reading the fine print on that treaty amendment you signed. It wasn't a treaty amendment at all. It was a challenge template." Chen's blood turned to ice. "A what?" Apparently, some intern at the Galactic Council mixed up the filing systems. What you signed and transmitted was actually a formal combat challenge used by warrior species to initiate honorable warfare. You basically just told the Vorthak that humanity finds them weak and demands single combat to prove our superiority. On the view screen, the Vorthak war prime's mandibles spread in what their species considered a smile. "Your species shows promise, Earth-dwellers. We have studied your historical records. Your capacity for violence is adequate. We particularly enjoyed your documentation of something called World War II. Quite entertaining." Chen felt the weight of 7 billion human lives pressing down on her shoulders. The Vorthak were legends throughout the galaxy, a species that had evolved from apex predators on a death world where everything was designed to kill everything else. They had never lost a war. Ever. Their idea of diplomacy was to let conquered species keep their original names before assimilation. "Honored War Prime," Chen said, forcing her voice to remain steady. "There seems to have been a misunderstanding. Humans are actually quite peaceful. We enjoy things like poetry, music, and gardening." The War Prime's laugh sounded like a landslide. "Modest? We appreciate that. Your psychological warfare attempts to appear harmless are noted and respected. We have prepared accordingly." "No, really," Chen insisted desperately. "We're not warriors. We're explorers. Scientists. We haven't fought a major war in over 2 centuries. Fascinating strategy," the War Prime mused, feigning weakness to lull us into overconfidence. "Your species grows more intriguing by the moment. We withdraw our preliminary assessment of easy prey and upgrade you to worthy adversary." Rodriguez frantically worked at his console. "Captain, I'm trying to contact the Galactic Council to explain the mistake, but they're all in their 72-hour meditation cycle. Standard protocol prevents interruptions for anything less than galaxy-ending catastrophes." "And a war with the Vorthak isn't galaxy-ending?" Chen hissed. "Apparently not. It says here that Vorthak wars are considered routine stellar maintenance by cosmic law." The War Prime leaned forward, its massive frame filling the screen. We shall arrive in your system in 37 of your planetary rotations. Prepare your finest warriors. We suggest you begin with whoever authorized this challenge. Their tactical boldness intrigues us. Chen's eyes widened. That would be me. Excellent. A leader who fights from the front. We had worried that your species might lack honor. Our advanced scouts report that your world has interesting topography for combat. We particularly look forward to testing our warriors in your location called Australia. It appears suitably hostile. As the transmission ended, Chen slumped into her captain's chair. Around her, the bridge crew stared in shocked silence. Captain, Communications Officer Park spoke up hesitantly. I'm receiving thousands of messages from Earth. Someone leaked the story. The headlines range from humanity's greatest blunder to the end times have arrived. Chen rubbed her temples. Options, people. Give me options. Well, Science Officer Kumar said thoughtfully. We could try to convince them it was a prank. You know, like a cosmic version of calling someone's refrigerator running. The Vorthak don't have refrigerators, Kumar. They eat their food while it's still struggling. Right. Bad example. Engineer Thompson raised her hand. What if we just ran? Packed up the whole solar system and moved somewhere else? Thompson, you can't move a solar system. Well, not with that attitude. Suddenly, Chen sat up straight. A desperate idea was forming. Rodriguez, pull up everything we have on Vorthak culture. There has to be something we can use. As Rodriguez compiled the data, Chen noticed something interesting. The Vorthak were indeed the galaxy's deadliest species, but they operated under a strict honor code. They respected courage, tactical innovation, and cleverness. That's it, Chen whispered, then louder. That's it. Rodriguez, send a message to the Vorthak War Prime. Tell them that humanity accepts their challenge, but we request the right to choose the nature of combat, as is traditional for the challenge party. Captain, what are you planning? Chen smiled for the first time in hours. We're going to challenge them to the most human form of combat possible. 3 days later, the Vorthak fleet arrived at Earth, their massive dreadnoughts bristling with enough firepower to glass a continent. War Prime Kethvar himself descended to Earth's surface, expecting to face humanity's greatest warriors in glorious battle. Instead, he found himself sitting across from Captain Chen at a small table in what humans called a coffee shop, staring at a peculiar board covered in black and white squares. This, Chen said calmly, moving a small horse-shaped piece, is chess. Checkmate in 7 moves. War Prime Kethvar studied the board with growing fascination. In all their eons of conquest, no species had ever challenged the Vorthak to a battle of pure intellect. The elegant brutality of sacrificing pieces for strategic advantage, the way pawns could transform into queens, the delicious complexity of thinking 12 moves ahead, it was warfare distilled to its purest essence. When Chen won the match, the War Prime stood and performed what could only be described as a bow. Humanity, he announced, has proven itself the most dangerous species we have ever encountered. Any race that can weaponize thinking itself is too formidable to fight. We withdraw our challenge and offer instead alliance. As the Vorthak fleet departed, Chen finally allowed herself to breathe. Humanity had just avoided extinction through the most improbable means possible, by teaching the galaxy's deadliest predators how to play chess. The irony wasn't lost on her that in trying to avoid war, she had just introduced the Vorthak to humanity's oldest strategic game, and somehow that had saved them all. Later, as reports came in of Vorthak warriors across the galaxy abandoning their weapons in favor of chessboards, Chen realized she might have accidentally started something far more dangerous than a war. She had started a revolution.